Hello everybody, this is Nick Naphacker coming to you live from Virginia Beach, Virginia with my video log for Beauty and the Beast, Season 1, Episode 2, Proceed with Caution. When I did my video log for Vampire Diaries, I literally there was so much that went on in that episode, I had to make a blog log, like a notebook, to write down all of my thoughts. Unfortunately, I didn't have to do that with this episode. Because not much happened. Unfortunately, not much happened. I don't know what to say. I mean, I feel like I'm stuck between, should I write it off right now as a dismal failure? Or because I was a fan of the original, should I stick around and try to stick it out and give it a chance and hope that maybe it'll redeem itself? I'll give it a couple more episodes. We'll see. Anyway, this episode opens up with a young woman who's on her cell phone trying to get directions to the party of the year, and she's led to the wrong street, and when she gets there, a woman falls off of a building and lands at her feet, and she totally freaks out. At the same time this is going on, Catherine goes over to see Vincent, because now that she's met him and she knows more about this case and the fact that her mother was being tracked, she wants to know why. So she's opened up her mother's old case files and she's looking through everything. She comes across a medical paper that her mother wrote on gene splicing, DNA recombination theory, something along those lines. She doesn't really understand what it says, so she takes it to Vincent, hoping that he can decipher it for her. Maybe something in the paper might have to do with his project, and what was done to him might explain why it was they were after her. He takes it over, so she takes it over to the abandoned chemical factory where he's hiding. And JT's there, but Vincent's not, or at least if he is, he's hiding. And JT's like, no, you can't be here. You know, we're supposed to be off the grid, and you're screwing everything up. You need to go and not ever come back. And you're not supposed to be seeing him. He's not supposed to be seeing you. Blah blah blah. And she leaves the paper with JT, hoping against hope that he will give it to Vincent so she can at least attempt to get some answers. Because now she's starting to become kind of obsessed. And she gets called over to the crime scene, and now I remember her partner's name is Detective Vargas. So they're both there. They examine the body, and at first glance, it looks like she might have been pushed. She might have been either pushed off purposely or fell off. Because the building that she fell off from was the theater. Okay, the victim was a ballerina at the theater building of which she was pushed off. While they're examining the body, a woman shows up who says she is this woman, Gemma. She is Gemma's understudy, and she's like, oh my god, what happened? Oh, she was such a good person. Oh, I can't believe she's gone. What happened? Oh my god. And she claims that she didn't know anything, and she's shocked, and she can't believe it. So the two officers let her go and say that they'll talk to her at a later date. And the two of them go inside the theater to take a look around. There's not really much there. The theater's empty except there's music playing. It sounds like something from Nutcracker Suite, at least I think. So they follow the sound and they come upon this training room, I think, where the ballerinas typically do their practice. And the music is blaring out, and Vargas shuts it off, and they're like, there's nobody here, and there's no evidence that there's a struggle, anything. So they see a stairway that leads up to the roof, and they go up to the roof to investigate further. And what they find out there's a table and some chairs, which suggests that I guess sometimes the ballerinas, the people who work in the building, tend to go upstairs, maybe to eat or to relax or on a break or what have you. And up there on the ground, they find a piece of fabric, probably from her leotard or her tutu, on the ground, and with blood on it. So now they're pretty sure that it wasn't an accidental fall, that she was pushed. They just don't know by whom. So Vargas goes back down to investigate further, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, oh, it's Vincent. She's surprised. He surprises her, and generally scares the living shit out of her. And she's like, "What are you doing here?" And he says to her, "Well, you were the one that came to see me. I got your paper and I read it, and yes, your mother was a brilliant doctor, but I'm sorry, whatever project she was working on doesn't have anything to do with what was done to me." So I don't know if he was being truthful or if he was trying to get her off the track, but I don't think that he would lie to her. Although he really doesn't want her to investigate this. So. And he tells her as much that he's tired of her coming to see him only because of what happened to her mother. And he would rather, if she didn't want to see him for something other than that, to not see him at all. And he tells her that the woman they were talking to, the ballerina they were talking to outside, was lying because he could hear her heart beating faster and her pulse was racing. She's like, "You could tell that her pulse was racing." Like, this is still a surprise after everything she's already seen. And at this point, this is where the case takes a back seat. Yet again, the case is like about this big in conjunction with the rest of. Here's case, A plot. Here's Big Vincent story, B plot. I still don't understand why they wanted to call this a procedural. Because the procedural is like, oh, hey, we're going to redo Beauty and the Beast, and hey, let's just throw in the fact that it's a procedural just because we can. At least in the original show, the procedural stuff had an effect on everybody, and everything was tied together. Like whatever was happening above kind of mirrored things that were going on below. And this is now that you don't have that advantage in the show because there is no world below. It's like, Kristen is still wooden as a doorpost. Gotta talk. I know she was great as Lana, but she's still entirely too wooden as Katherine Chandler. Katherine Chandler, as strong a woman as she might have been, was also a very emotional woman. She was very kind and warm and friendly and caring, and that's why everyone generally loved her. And this chick, you just want to slap her. Like, really slap her. At the moment, she's living with her sister. Her sister is staying with her, actually. I guess her sister is in between homes or whatever. And her sister is a couple years younger than her and was home at the time that their mother was killed. So she goes to her and she asks her, was there anything weird that you noticed that went on? Like any phone calls or mom acting weird or dad acting weird, anything that you could think of that just was out of the ordinary? And she's like, I really don't want to talk about this. Okay, I don't know why you have to bring all this up right now. I want to remember mom the way she was, not the murder. I mean, I can't even imagine what you must have gone through having witnessed that yourself, but come on, I mean, this was a long time ago. Past in the past, let it lie. She really didn't think about her sister's feelings when she opened up the case files and left them all over the house. Because now she's becoming obsessed and treating everything like it's a case and everyone like it's a victim. Which is the same thing she's doing with Vincent. She goes back over to talk to him under the pretense that she needs help with her case, which we all know is a bunch of bullshit. Because when it comes to him, she really doesn't think about cases. Honestly, she doesn't. She wants to get more information about his past, about the other members of the project. their names and who they were, so maybe she can find out more. And he's telling her, because when he was sitting there talking with her, there was a picture of him and his old army buddies, and these four were the ones that were involved with him in this project. And she wants to run facial recognition software to see if she can figure out more information. He's like, no, don't you dare. Are you crazy? You know that if you do that, they're tracking you every move. And they argue about it a little bit, and she leaves, but she takes the picture with her. And she does in fact run it. She scans it into her computer and does facial recognition. And while she's called away from the computer, whatever government agency this is that's tracking him is obviously tracking her computer, because it puts a piece of extremely potent malware onto her computer, which pretty much deletes her entire hard drive, including the photograph and whatever information she might have found. He gets so pissed at her that she did this. Well, he works himself up into such a frenzy that he shifts and he puts his fist in the wall. But before this happened, he knows that they're tracking her, because at that same moment, they delete all the files from her computer. Later on that day, when she's off duty and she's driving in her car, she accidentally hits a guy on a bike, which turned out to be a total scam. When she goes to check on him, make sure he's okay, he gets up and he tries to kill her. Obviously, this is an operative or an assassin sent by this agency to silence her. And she almost gets killed, and he saves her life by winding up killing the assassin. And he's pissed off when he finds out that she took the picture and she did the facial recognition, which means that they'd be tracking him and he's no longer safe. And he shifts uncontrollably and puts his fist through the wall, and it's a whole bunch of craziness. While all this is going on, the only other person that they seem to question, other than the rest of the ballerinas and ballet dancers in the company, they question the, I don't know what the term is used for, but the coach. And they ask if Gemma had any relationships, any boyfriends, and he's like, it's possible. I'm with these girls almost 24 hours a day. If they were seeing somebody, I would definitely know. Because according to the autopsy reports, she had sexual intercourse not long before, and when they did the chemical on her, the toxic on her, they found out that she had traces of the morning after pill in her system. So when they put two and two together, they find they get information that Gemma herself was seen at a police station by an officer. And when they review the police station footage, they do in fact see her there. She was there to make a report. The information itself, when they go to the theater house and they look in her locker, all her things are gone. And they look at her Facebook and her email, and they see that she's been getting messages, weird, creepy messages like, I love the way that you look today, your smile is this and that, blah, blah. So they think she's being stalked. And they cotton on to the idea that the janitor is the only one who would have that kind of access to her locker. Otherwise, all the lockers are locked. So they track him down to his apartment, and he gets scared and bolts, but they manage to track him down. And this is where the scene takes place, where Catherine and Vincent get in the argument about the picture. And they take him in and they question him. He says he never heard her, that he actually had feelings for her because she was the only one there that saw him or spoke to him or interacted with him in any way. She was the only one who cared. The rest of them kind of treated him like shit. And he was concerned about her. So one day he followed her and he realized she was going to the police station and he told them the precinct. So they got the security camera footage from that precinct, and indeed she was there that day to make a sexual assault, to make a report. So police report sexual intercourse morning after pill. Put 1 and 2 together makes sexual assault. So they believe that she's been assaulted by somebody. Now also on the videotape they see the understudy arguing with her. And when they speak to the desk sergeant at the precinct, the desk sergeant doesn't remember exactly what they were talking about. All she remembers hearing was that they were arguing over somebody named Joshua. And at first they think that this Joshua is the boyfriend.